Hey guys, Wraith Crew here. Today's video is something a little special. I'm going to post-emptively break down my gameplay from my most recent YouTube upload, being a 19 kill no-fill game. I have the full unedited version here on my Twitch, and we're going to sit here and break down this game piece by piece so you can better understand what goes through my mind as I'm going for these high kill games and kind of my thought process in these fights. And it'll be sure to help you, even if you're not doing no-fill trios, even if you're playing in ranked, it'll kind of help you understand your thought process going into fights and the things I think about and how you can apply this in your own situations. If you guys like videos like these, be sure to let me know in the comments below. I also like to try and do these live sometimes on my Twitch at twitch.tv/wraithcrew. So be sure to, come and say hi, and maybe you'll catch me do one of these live. Maybe you'll catch one of these games live. I have a little on-screen tool that we'll be using to draw, and I'll just be kind of giving my flow of consciousness, kind of talking about the things that I know I was thinking of in the situation and breaking down what I could have even done better. This was a 19 kill no-fill game. It could have probably been a 22 or higher kill game. So we'll go ahead and check this out. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and we'll go ahead and get into it. Alright, so first off, it's World's Edge. You can pretty much imagine where we're going to drop. Let me turn down the audio a little bit here. It's World's Edge, so you can imagine where we're going to drop. We're going to drop one of the two streamer buildings here. We decided to opt for the smaller streamer building here, and I'm going to break down my understanding of how to drop. Check our posture. You can also hear at the beginning of this game, I go through the mental effort of resetting my mental. I sit here, I say, we're going to sit up straight. Check our posture. Check our posture. Let's fry some. You see, every single game should be treated in its own vacuum. You shouldn't go into a game thinking about the previous game unless it was an opportunity where you know you could have done better and you could have improved in some way. I go into this game with a brand new mindset, brand new mental. Whatever killed me in the last game, killed me in the last game. I don't need to worry about that now. I'm in a brand new game where I can focus on the things that are happening in this current game. I'm not going to stress out about malding over a previous game. My mental is reset, and this is a really important thing. People will log on to Apex and continue to play for hours and hours and being caught on their mistakes over and over again, when realistically, if you can't identify your mistakes in the moment, there's no reason to sit here and actually get yourself caught up and ruin your potential for future games like this. It's really, really important, especially in a battle royale, to understand that you are going to lose. You are going to die. There are going to be games where you die to luck, where there's games where you're going to die to skill, there's games where you're going to die to things that are frustrating, and you just need to go from each game individually, resetting your mental. So you can see I'm dropping here, and when I drop, I opt to go for the bottom floor here. I know the giant play marker is blocking the doorway, but it's right here. There's also a door over here to the bottom and a door right here to the bottom. I opt for the bottom floor because this is the most optimal way to loot streamer building. I don't know. This is the most optimal way to loot streamer building. If you've already watched my video explaining how to hot drop, a lot of these concepts will be very familiar, and I'm going to be building upon those concepts. So if you haven't already watched the video, be sure to check it out on screen right now. It'll be in the card in the top right. But I'm going to go land. Every time I like to land in this building, I'm going to opt to land on the bottom floor. This is where the largest amount of gun spawns are. There's an area where guns can spawn here. There's an area where guns can spawn here. And a gun can spawn down here by this door. Landing in this door here gives me the most optimal chance to find a gun. I go to the door and I can immediately look to my left to establish, are there guns here? Is there something even worth going to grab here? And if there isn't, I can go look over here. And if there's not a gun here, I can still run to the zip line and go land on the third floor where an extra potential gun spawn is. If I still don't have a gun at this point, I need to establish what areas are actually potential for guns. If no one landed second floor, I'm going to drop second floor and go for the potential upwards of 4 gun spawns here, or even 2 gun spawns in here. The reason why I don't initially land second floor is because it's usually heavily contested. Bottom floor lets me escape quicker if I have to, because I can go run this way and go run to diner, or I can go run to the train station if I have to. Again, it depends on what actually happens here. Let's see what happens, and I'll kind of explain my thought process behind this. So I land on the door here, I look for the gun spawn, and L-star spawns, I grab that, immediately run. Someone contests the... Someone contests this gun spawn. I only have an L-star. I recognize that this person has a prowler, I believe. This person has a prowler. I get the initial jump on this person because they have to use the animation when they first pick up the gun. But I have an L-star. I miss my shots. I immediately start backing up to the zip line, so I have some sort of cover to play or escape. I don't just go challenge this horizon and expect to win. I'm in trios. This person has 2 more teammates where I don't know where they are. If I start engaging an extended engagement with this horizon, her 2 teammates can come from anywhere, most likely the zip line. So I'm going to play the cover of the zip line to give me an escape route, even if I don't hit these shots. It turns out that I don't hit the shots. I think I know reg 1. I go to the 3rd floor, look for the gun here. No gun spawns here. No gun spawns here. There are already guns here. Nobody. There were no possible guns. I have an L-star with 13 bullets. This is not enough weapons to actually utilize here, so I'm going to disengage. We go ahead and run through train station here. There isn't really much to say here other than I'm just gathering resources. This is downtime in a battle royale. This happens with every game. So let's go ahead and break down this little end here. So we've effectively gotten 2 brand new, very solid guns. The Yelchin and Mozambique are very, very solid guns for off-drop fighting. They're not necessarily high tier, but they will get the job done, and I don't have to worry about ammo really. I have 80 rounds and my full magazine, and the Mozambique is really effective with the damage per bullet. So we go over here. We decided to go over this way. We know that people landed over here from the very beginning, and I want to clear this area before crossing the street. Super glide over here. We heard somebody, and there is a Newcastle right here, so we decided to try and engage. He is running. The chances are he's probably low. However, we realize now I try to chase him to try and catch him out when he's by himself, but I can't capitalize on this opportunity. He's running inside, and most likely he's running to his teammates. And this Watson, I believe, peeks me from the top balcony and starts challenging me. This is such a disadvantageous fight to take because she has high ground, cover, she can easily back off. Even if I out-trade her, she can easily back off, and I have to enter a climb animation. We have identified where 2 out of the 3 enemies are. There is a Newcastle down here who is probably low in some extent, but we don't know to what extent. We didn't hit him. We don't know if he has armor. We don't know if he's flesh. We don't know what guns he has. We've established nothing about this Newcastle except that he's running. He could be full health and running to his team. He might be playing scared. There is also this Watson up here who I believe has an alternator. We still have a 3rd element that we don't know about. No-fill trios, and the game in general is a lot about establishing all of these elements and putting them within your control. If you don't know where the 3rd person is, this 3rd person could realistically be in 5 different places. This person could be on the train tracks right here. And if I tried to commit to the Newcastle, this Watson could look down from here, and this whoever the 3rd person is could look down from the train station. They could also be behind this fence. They could be crouching. They could be healing. I don't know where they are. So, upon getting shot by the Watson, I go ahead and phase back. Wraith phase is something that should be used preemptively, not postemptively. You should phase before you take damage and not while you're taking it. I take a little bit of poke damage, and I'm not even cracked, but I want to disengage from this fight. It's not a good fight to take, just because of the positioning and the information I have. So, we run back to train station. I don't hear them pushing me, so I decide right here is fine to heal. We see somebody in the window. We poke some shots off. Not too much to say about that. We start hearing people from multiple angles here. I believe I might have even saw somebody here. Did I? Let me see. I don't think I saw somebody, but I hear other footsteps behind me. I hear a Valkyrie and a Bloodhound. Knowing previously that the team that I engaged with before was a Watson and a Newcastle, this signifies that it's a brand new team. These are 2 characters I don't know about. I don't know where they are. I just know that they're approaching me quickly. And not knowing where the enemies are and not being able to control their position is really dangerous, because in no-fill trios and in situations where you're outnumbered in general, if they're controlling the situation, you're going to be pressured to lose. You're going to be pressured and you're going to be out-pressured, and you're more likely to lose. So here, I decided to go ahead and run back to streamer building. I might get shot here. I'm strafing an unpredictable pattern. Run back to streamer building. We're all good now. Trigger some caustic traps. It's okay. Go to third floor. Peek roof here. What we do here, this is a simple trick that is really effective if you have a good understanding of mouse control or your aim is rather solid. We go ahead, we hit a zipline super jump here and turn around to immediately face the zipline. This gives us all the information about who is where, and it lets us get off some shots. If I have a peacekeeper here, for example, I can also do a super jump and shoot the person here, and if I do enough damage, I can engage with the zipline. However, I did this for information to know where they are on the top floor. Turns out that there was an Octane and a Valkyrie here, so I go ahead and shoot this Octane. He decides to take the zipline as well, for certainly some reason, unsure why, but we go ahead and punish that. We got enough initial damage and he decided to chase me, so we managed to punish it with some solid aim from our Mozambique. Once we do that, we know that there are more people coming, and we want to use the zipline as an effective way to break line of sight and cover and make us more difficult to hit. So we need to start. We have now knocked one person from one team. We've established who this Octane's teammates are, or at least potentially who they are. It is streamer building, and there's a lot of chaos to ensue. So let's think about how. Let's think about our next step. We've now eliminated one person. There are now two more teammates, and as far as we know, that's a Valkyrie and a Caustic. A Caustic's game plan in streamer building is most likely to throw as many traps down as possible and secure the area. We're going to likely try and apply pressure to remove the Caustic's win condition. And this game has been going on for about a minute and a half. He's gonna have his ultimate at some point soon. So we're gonna try and play around that. We're gonna try and stay on the zipline so we can't effectively use his barrels against us. We can trigger them, we can go zip up the zipline. He no longer has that barrel available to him once it runs out. This Valkyrie is likely going to try and engage on us or hold a high ground. A Valkyrie is going to try and use her jetpack to play around the outside of the building. So if we keep ourselves inside the building and don't let the Caustic set up, we are in a good position to actually win a 1v2. And we're going to see here that I'm going to try and bait the enemies into fighting different 1v1s against me. So again, we've knocked the Octane. We're going to look for an opportunity to finish up the 1v2 here. We super jump. We don't know where the enemies are. We're getting information. I go reload here. There ends up being an entirely different team here, and it catches me by surprise. You can kind of hear the surprise in my voice. And so now this situation in streamer building has become absolute chaos. It's now a 1, which is me, versus 2, which is the team of the Valkyrie and the Caustic, versus potentially 3. We don't know how many enemies there are, but if we don't know how many enemies there are, we should almost never assume it's a single individual. We should assume it's a full new team of 3 engaging, maybe split, maybe all at the same time. Maybe there are all 3 right there. So now that we know the situation at hand, even if we fight a 1v2, we still have the opportunity to get third party and still be caught in a 1v5. In a situation where you are a solo or there's other teams, you want to avoid trying to engage and be the person of interest. You see, Apex Legends, as I'm sure you know, is very well known for its third parties. This 2v3 situation here, it's most likely that the team of 3 is gonna win. I've already knocked one, and I've already started to exhaust some of the resources. The Caustic's thrown his barrels down. I've already triggered a few. So this team is down on resources right now. That makes it likely for this team to win. So when I am trying to engage in a third party, or at least trying to engage to get kills here, I want to try and take out this team of 3. I know that this team of 2 is a Valkyrie and a Caustic, so we're going to be looking for the other 3 characters here, and if we have the chance to, we're going to opt to shoot the team of 3 instead. So this fight becomes more equal, and potentially this 2v3 can end up being a 1v1, engaging with me, who is also a single person. So you see how balancing out the stakes here in no-fill trios is really important, because if I help this team of 3 fight the team of 2 here, you can see that I have now set myself up in a 1v3 situation, which is a lot harder to win than a 1v2v2. This might result in getting you less kills, but this is a way safer way to play, and sometimes situations fall in the lap where they're fighting each other. I managed to do 10 damage and knock somebody. I managed to do 10 damage and knock somebody else. And then now, boom, these guys are all low from fighting. 10 damage, knock somebody, 10 damage, knock somebody. But of course, that's a lot of luck and timing and understanding what to do. We'll go ahead and see how I actually engage with this situation. Let's see what I do here. I know I jump down and we get caught off guard by someone on the door here. So this person having the advantage on me, I immediately recognize this person has a Spitfire. I have Alternator Mozambique. That person has a gun that is strictly better than mine in basically every way. I have to do something to get the advantage on them because they catch me out in the open. I'm less than white armor. I'm missing a little bit of health. I'm reloading both of my guns here, and they start shooting. A person with a Spitfire obviously has a heavy magazine. They can shoot a lot of bullets. So my instinct is to immediately break line of sight and try and get some cover to try and delay. I still have all of my resources available to me. I might not be full health, but I have a good amount of meds. I have my phase, and once I reload all my guns, I'm actually able to fight again. So we go ahead. We go to the door. It actually ends up being 2 people here, but the little bit doesn't actually contribute to this damage at all. So I close the door, I wait on the door here, and I phase to break up the engagement. If I effectively break line of sight, this team is going to lose sight of me, and they're not actually going to fight me because they're the team. And it plays perfectly into my strengths here. You can see that the other team decides to start pushing this team, and they actually start fighting here. You can see a full-blown fight starts. And I'm going to use this opportunity to full reset for myself. I don't want to engage in a fight where I'm missing too much HP. Now, situations change a bit as that team does end up chasing me. So what we do here is we take what I like to call a power position. Every building and a majority of places in maps have something that is called the power position. This ledge up here on top of Shroom building is the power position. It's also mirrored by this, which the other top of this roof. It can be also referred to as ultimate height, but sometimes ultimate height isn't the best place to sit. However, in Shroom building, this is typically the best place to sit because it gives you the most vision everywhere and you're most protected. If you're sitting down here on the floor right here, somebody on the zip line, you saw what I did to the Octane earlier where I super jumped up and actually shot him with the alternator and cracked him, and then he tried to engage with me. If the Octane was sitting up here, he would be a lot more safe, and I wouldn't be able to do that to him. So now that I'm in this position, if someone pushes me, I can either challenge them because they have to enter a climb up animation to actually challenge me here. Or if it's multiple people, or they actually manage to climb up, I can slide down this way to the door here, or I can drop down behind me where there's also another door. And I know that door is still there because I just used it earlier. Unless they broke it, but that team ended up chasing me. So now that the teams are actually engaged, I'm going to use this opportunity where no one is looking at me. This is a perfect thing in no-fill trios. You want to never be the center of attention. If you're the center of attention, it's really easy for you to die. It's already enough that you are one individual person. A team of 3 fighting you can heal 3 times as fast. They can shoot 3 times more guns. They can have 3 times more angles. They can push you 3 times as hard. Like, they can do everything you can do 3 times better and or faster. However, when you're an individual and there's 2 teams fighting, you can actually use this a lot to ignore this element of you remove the factor that they can actually do all these things better than you because they're not actually engaging with you. You want to try and never be the center of attention. If both these teams of 3 are shooting you have positioned wrong, and you actually haven't utilized the effectiveness of attention. Attention, just like shield cells, ammo, whatever, is a resource. A team can only focus on so many things at once, and sometimes they have to put more focus into certain things than others. So for example, if there's a team of 3 and they're split each watching an angle, if a full team of 3 pushes an angle and it apes one guy, that person might be dead. There's not enough attention and resources actually dedicated to being able to stop that person, or to stop the full team from pushing from that person. So all of this team's attention is completely divided. They don't have enough resource of attention to actually be able to stop me from being up here. Like I said, this is a power position, and the actual resources required to go up here and time required to come up here and stop me from being up here is far greater than you might think. So now that we've established a very strong position, we're going to sit up here, and you can see we actually get to farm this fight. I end up missing a lot of my shots here. I go for a target switch and then decide, let's sound the Valkyries, we didn't knock her. And it ends up costing me probably a kill here, but get the knock on the Valkyrie here. That's fine. We go back up to the ultimate height. This team gets fully wiped. This team is fully dead now. So knowing that I have no armor, my initial reaction upon a team wipe when I have no armor is to go get this armor. I'm going to go get this armor. I'm going to loot quickly. I need to identify what I need in this situation. I know, without even opening my inventory here, everything that I know off the top of my head is that I have 56 light ammo. 56 light ammo is not enough to engage in an extended fight. I have to clean up a fight quickly, so our biggest priority is looking for ammo. Swapping guns is kind of dangerous and takes a lot of time, but our second priority is swapping off from Alternator Mozambique. Don't get me wrong, these guns are fine, but they aren't necessarily super strong. We want to get a stronger gun, such as a Wingman, a Car, a Spitfire, something stronger that'll actually allow us to fight people more comfortably and have a bigger advantage. We are also looking for a new armor. As I said earlier, we don't have armor, and if we actually manage to heal, we can capitalize off of the fact that there was damage traded. So we're going to go to this box, and we know that those are the things we're looking for. Heals right now are kind of whatever. We're looking to actually fight properly. So upon going to this box, you see I loot I immediately swap the Mozambique for a Prowler. That's a gun. I think I prefer it more. I instantly swap it, swap the armor, grab the mag, boom, we're done. We don't need anything else from this box. We grabbed a new gun, and we grabbed some ammo for it. We just picked up all the heals instantly. We didn't worry about it. We picked it up. We're good. If my inventory was full here, I wouldn't even bother trying to swap what I needed unless there's something I really wanted. For example, like a purple mag or something like that. But there's nothing for us to worry about. So we loot everything, we reload the gun, we reskin the gun, and we look to engage in the rest of this fight. We still know that there's a full team here, and you might have just heard it, but as we go down the stairs here, we hear somebody rezzing. I didn't recognize this in the kill feed at the time, but hearing that there's a res makes me want to engage with the fight more. I can punish the res more, and they set the situation back into a 1v2, which is way more manageable than a 1v3. So we go ahead and drop here. We recognize that the Horizon was probably not the person who was rezzed. It was the Newcastle. So now we're going to repeat this angle, looking to punish and kill the Newcastle. We don't manage to get it because of the shield, but we do start getting pushed by whoever this is walking up the stairs, and we still hold a really strong position here. We're still engaging in the rule of 1v1s. You always want to try and break a full squad of 3 into a squad of 3 is obviously 3 people, 3 individual people. If I can myself fight this person in a 1v1 and then kill them, and then fight this person in a 1v1 and then kill them, and then fight this person in a 1v1 and then kill them, I've effectively 1v3'd. But you want to try and break every fight just like this. You want to break a fight down from a 1v3 into 3 individual 1v1s, and however you may do it. So knowing that 1v1s are really advantageous for us to take, we go ahead and hold this position here. We're not getting pushed here. No one's even shot at us back yet. We're still full resources. We're still missing a little bit of health. Prowler isn't reloaded, but this person comes up the stairs. This is now an established 1v1. I know that the Newcastle is the res. He's not going to push me, and if he does, he's 1 HP. I can easily target switch onto him, punish him, kill him. Now it's a 1v2. And now that I crack this person, I'm going to stay here and try and hold this position. This is a 1v1. You almost always want to take 1v1s when possible. There are times where they're disadvantageous, but this is advantageous. I know where every teammate is, and I can't be pushed easily. They are all in this stairwell right here. They're all in this stairwell right here. Like the Newcastle's right here, the Horizon's right here. They have to either walk up the stairs to challenge me, which I'm holding right now. They can't do this for free. Or they have to walk all the way around to the zipline, take the zipline up, and then come around to the side here. But I'm going to hear this. I'm going to hear this. I'm going to hear them walk out. I'm going to be able to play this cover here and break line of sight. And even maybe go up the stairs here and bait them into chasing me. You can kind of see how on a macro level, I'm breaking down my fights to actually effectively 1v3. This is so much less about aim. My aim is okay here. It's more about my positioning and my thought process behind it. We'll go ahead and let this fight play. I get the kill here. It's relatively simple. They actually all died in the stairway. You see, I get to bleed out here. That full team died in the stairway because some other team walked in and cleaned up. And I know I didn't kill the other people of the team. So now, where are we at again? We're now in a 1v3. Knowing how damaged the last team was, they likely didn't trade with anybody, so this is probably a full team of 3. We're now in a 1v3. We now want to reset everything we've thought of, every advantage we've had in terms of damage and health. We want to reset it completely. We now have to fight 3 brand new individuals who we have no information on. We don't know character comps, we don't know health, we don't know guns, we don't know anything about them. So we're going to try and get information here. We're going to try and get information. We're going to try and catch them off guard if possible. This person ends up taking the Horizon Lift. We get a good initial burst of the Prowler. So knowing this person's cracked, I have around a 50-ish HP gap above this person. Their teammate is nowhere to be seen. I might hear them go up the lift, but even if I don't, I can probably kill a person that has no armor within probably a couple seconds. It's an advantageous 1v1 to take. So we go ahead and actually do take it. I missed my shots here, and I used the audio from the zipline to know that there is a teammate approaching from the zipline here. I can't get too greedy for this knock. If I get too greedy for this knock, I know that the teammate's going to come over here. This situation now becomes a 1v2. Unless I knock them, and then it's a 1v1 where this person has the advantage of attention on me. I'm not paying attention to them. They're likely going to get the first shots on me, which puts me at a disadvantage unless they miss. But I'm not banking on my teammates, or I'm not banking on the enemies being bad. I'm banking on them hitting their shots. So I'm going to play this as safe as possible. I missed some shots here, so I'm not going to push the Bloodhound. I'm not going to full send. I'm going to instead retake this power position I talked about earlier. This person actually doesn't end up going to the zipline to chase me, and I realize that. So I leave the power position and try and punish the Bloodhound from the position where I last knew they were. The sight line on this stairway gives you access to the entire stairway except for the underneath here. So I'm going to see if they're healing on the staircase here and see if I can punish them, because I know that's their last position. Instead, we meet somebody we had no idea was there. We didn't hear them, and even if we did hear them, we could have said it was the Bloodhound, but we surprised them. They're caught off guard just by how fast we are. In the last couple of seconds, we went from here to here to here to here and then back here. We've moved quite a lot. We are occupying and keeping an eye on all the potential areas for someone to push us from. Those Watson doesn't expect us to come from there. We get the initial jump, and our aim is pretty solid here. We don't manage to knock them, but we manage to do a lot of damage to them. And knowing this Bloodhound is still pretty low, and I can see that they're popping a health med. You can actually see if someone's popping a cell or a battery or whatever things kit. I see this Bloodhound's popping a syringe, which indicates to me that they either armor swapped or have no armor. And I can check that pretty easily by just shooting at them. Knowing this Bloodhound is low. The Watson behind me is also low. That means I'm set in an advantageous position to just simply take 2 really quick and effective 1v1s here. I don't know where the third person is, but if I get this knock without taking any damage, or I get this knock relatively quickly, this becomes a 1v2. I knock the other person. Now it's just a straight 1v1. And a 1v1 where their teammates are down pressures them and encourages them to res and gives me some time to reset or potentially punish them for doing so. So here, we'll go ahead and see how this actually plays out. Go to the zipline to break LOS and reload our guns. Then we immediately go back and try and engage and punish the Bloodhound. We actually end up getting punished for this, but our mechanical skill actually rewards us here. Our aim is solid. We, as a player, are pretty solid. We're experienced in this, so we actually managed to use this here to punish the Newcastle with a solid burst and with the alternator. So I have no armor here. I know I have no batteries. If I had a battery, I probably would have played this differently. But since I don't, I check to make sure this Bloodhound isn't pushing me. I hear them climb up outside. I know they're not going to peek me again. So I take the opportunity to thirst the Newcastle, go ahead and armor swap. Now we're missing a little bit of health. So we kind of effectively have no health, but the enemies don't necessarily know exactly how much HP I have. If I re-peek somebody, they're going to think I'm relatively full HP, and they're going to be pretty scared of that. We know that both targets were low, so we're going to reload. We see somebody here. We're going to come back on the zipline, look for them. We hear them below us. We're going to peek from an unexpected angle, the stairs. We're going to grab some loot real quick, see if there's any ammo in the boxes. We are running low on resources here. You can see I have no alternator ammo. I have very little prowler ammo. So I went on the box to try and look for resources, and if anything, there was only health beds on it, which is fine. I heard a knock downstairs, I believe. Yep, we hear the knock right there downstairs. We know that there's another team. And knowing that there's another team, we should always assume it's a 1v3, right? Well, kind of. That is true for majority of situations, but we actually have information here. The information being audio. We've only actually ever heard one person. And if there was a full team of 3 down here, we would have heard more gunshots. It's not even footstep audio. Footstep audio is reliable for finding people in certain situations, but the audio in this game obviously struggles to work sometimes. But gunshots are very reliant. We hear 2 distinct gunshots. We hear a Spitfire and a car. And we can see that there's a knock with a car, and I believe this knock with Spitfire was a different fight somewhere else on the map. So we know that there's only one person down there, and potentially the Watson, who again is still low. So we're actually going to peek from the stairway here and engage in this fight. And we see that the Watson was the person who got knocked. Bloodhound gets knocked here. There's another solo Wraith. She's still damaged from the fight. We catch her off guard. So we actually managed to get this initial burst on her. And from being low from the previous fight, we can actually now engage with her. Even though we are effectively at the same HP, she has probably full health. But empty armor. We have about 3/4 health and full armor. But she doesn't know our health value at all. Her health, she lacks information on us. So she's probably going to retreat upon realizing there's a full health enemy who has just cracked me. So we can play aggressively here off of this. And we get a nice burst, so we break line of sight and just chase her and follow up like this. And it's very simple. It's knowing what you can do with the information you have. Information coming from sight, hearing, the kill feed, anything like that. Now we take all this time to loot all the boxes down here. We look for more powerful weapons, and I believe we end up with Wingman Car. Let me see here. Yeah, we end up with Car Prowler. So let's think about our guns. Let's think about our gun situation. Our guns are powerful in close range. The car has a decent amount of range. The Prowler is basically well suited for short range. So our weapons don't have a lot of poke associated with them. We have to play very close range. So we're going to try and bait enemies to enter streamer building in the typical TTV Wraith fashion. We hear footsteps, so we're going to again take a power position. This position is very difficult for people to push us in. So we go up here. We get a beam on the Wraith. Our teammates start shooting back. We're going to reload our car. We realize she hasn't phased yet. If she phased, we would have heard it, or potentially even seen it here. She hasn't phased, so potentially I opt to try and punish her here and try and knock her. I slide down. We actually don't end up getting this knock. Our aim kind of falters there, but it's okay. We managed to follow her and punish her. Boom. Now we're in a 1v2. 1v2, much more manageable than a 1v3. We go again, take the power position, but actually we're going to go forward. We know where her teammates were previously, so we're going to try and play a more forward angle to catch them as they try and walk up here. It appears as if they've already walked up. So using that information, I'm going to act like they're in streamer building. I don't know where they are, but I know that they're somewhere nearby. I hear some footsteps, probably from the staircase here. So we're going to look underneath us here, try and establish where they are. We hear a res, and we haven't heard somebody else. We were only shot by one other person earlier. So this indicates that this is likely a duo. And relatively easily, with the power of audio, we managed to punish this res by knowing about this angle and one-clip the Octane rather easily. We now have 7 kills, all from streamer building. Just by playing smart. We haven't done anything insanely flashy. We have just played smart. We've played the right positioning. We've understood what attention is and how to utilize it as a resource. And we've never been the center of attention. And when we are, we disengage from the situation. We now have my preferred loadout, Wingman Car, which now what changes about this loadout is that the Wingman is powerful at all ranges. We now have a long-range poke gun and a very powerful close-range weapon, the Car. So now we can be effective from more ranges. So now I'm going to sit here and opt to try and find enemies to actually punish as they come up to us. So this other person has a wingman. We're going to challenge them. This is because this is an advantageous angle for us to hold. We have high ground, which gives us cover, and it makes it easier to shoot people down here. This person's cover is less sufficient than ours, so we're going to try and challenge them. And I don't want this team to walk up for free. If this team walks up without us punishing them, they have now encroached in our space, and they now have control of the situation. You always want to try and have control of the situation that you are in. If you have control, you are the individual who says what happens. You are going to take control of the flow of the fight, and you're going to out-pressure your opponents into doing what you want them to do, or a more advantageous situation. So we'll go ahead and see what I actually do here. I've realized it's very likely that this isn't one team. So my brain here, I recognize there's a person over here and a person over here. This ends up being the same team, and we engage in a poke battle for a decent amount of time just because they seem scared and don't want to push, and I don't get any overwhelming damage, which opts me to push. They kind of trade here and poke, and we heal, do a little heal off, and nothing crazy is going on here. I'm just keeping visual information about where the enemies are and seeing if I can make a play off of it. Nothing super interesting happens here. They have a Bangalore and they try to smoke me, and I opt to actually use the digi threat. Now this is a problem. You can see my attention as a resource can only go to so many things. I can only pay attention to so many things. This Bangalore smoked, which requires a more finite use of my attention. I have to actually use a digi threat and clear the areas of the smoke much more peculiarly than I would than if it was just an open space. And the Pathfinder, having clear line of sight on me, uses this to actually damage me here. So he damages me. I move positions so they don't necessarily know where I am. I move positions, they don't know where I am, and I go ahead and decide to heal. You can see I pop a battery here. They're probably going to take this time to enter the building and try and push me. And they do exactly that. So now, what's our biggest problem? Our biggest problem is being pushed and outflanked. So Junior building is a very good way to break LOS with the zipline, so we're going to try and utilize the zipline and just LOS in general to try and take poke damage and out trade with the enemy. Again, they can do 3 times as much damage as me, 3 times as fast. They can heal 3 times faster, so we are going to try and make opportunities as quick and as fast as possible and try and punish over aggression. So here, when he enters through the door, we're going to play this cover and try and out trade them. We actually managed to crack them, and then we know that there's an enemy to my left. So what do? We leave and break LOS. We go from a different angle. We've been damaged. We basically have white armor, so I'm going to try and look to heal here, unless a really strong opportunity presents itself. We're going to get visual information on where the enemies are. We don't know where anybody is. The last position we knew somebody was somebody by the door here and somebody to my left with an EVA 8. So we're going to try and understand where this person who is low went. This Pathfinder might chase me. We don't know where the third person is. We don't know where they are. We're going to try and establish where they are. So in seeing where they are, we go to the zip line and hold the arc star out, so maybe we can get an easy stick on somebody. We saw somebody there, but I'm not sure if I processed it there. Now we're going to look at the staircase. Okay, never mind. I did actually see this person on the staircase, but I didn't want to enter from an expected angle. This Bangalore, or whoever it may be, Wraith, I believe. This Wraith most likely saw me. She most likely heard me. And if they're in communications with the other teammates, they're gonna say, hey, Wraith climb second floor, Wraith climb second floor. This Wraith, knowing, hey, they're on second floor, is probably gonna expect me to poke from this doorway and is going to get the jump on me. So instead, I approach from an unexpected angle. I go all the way up, go to the stairs here, throw an arc star, and then shoot her here, get the knock. Now we're in a 1v2 situation. Unexpected angles are extremely useful in 1v3 situations. If they can never catch you and don't know what angle you're gonna peek from, they can't effectively stop you. You will apply so much pressure. We're spinning the zipline, so we're gonna play this door here. She's on the door. We hear the zipline, which likely means if you don't know, the zipline ends up here. You can go from the zipline here very easily to this door, and somebody can just sit on this door, and then you're getting pressure from 2 different angles. So hearing the zipline here, I opt to drop and reset the amount of pressure that they can actually influence on me. Go to the zip line to break LOS. We know there's somebody here. We're going to use an arc star to try and get an arc star stick off of the zip line. Nobody's actually peeking us. We missed the stick. We use the car's really powerful hipfire to get some initial damage here. This Bangalore, she actually has to pull out her gun and then turn around and doesn't expect me to poke her. This Pathfinder actually gets some good damage on me, so we re-enter the zip line. We're going to go to the power position once again. This powerful, understand where to access powerful positions and how to utilize them. Getting up here to actually challenge me is very difficult, and it buys me more time. And you see, even if she climbed up to chase me, I'm now down here. There's somebody on the door. The person I knocked opted to climb to the door, so we're going to approach from another door. They're now rezzing. So we know the position of 2 people. The last Pathfinder was last seen going up the zipline to chase me around. So what we're going to do is try and punish this res. Even if we can't knock them, if we stop the res, we've still effectively traded a lot of damage. It actually shows out that we actually managed to get both knocks, and we established where the Pathfinder is. This puts the Pathfinder in a very delicate situation where he has to either try and challenge us or go for the res. He opts to try and challenge us here, and we catch him off guard. We just catch him off guard by the fact that we've re-challenged him at this generator, whatever you want to call this. We've broken LOS, so his last known position of us is in this doorway. We could have ran this way and ran all the way back down to the stairs. We could have jumped off, gone to the door. He has no idea what our potential play is. So what we do here is opt to catch him off guard. We go to the gen, we hide around the corner, slide down into him and chow him, and just win because of raw mechanical skill, and we got the initial damage and caught him off guard. If I didn't hit my shots here, I would have opted to probably Q away or run back. And it's just as simple as that. It's as simple as knowing the flow of the game and knowing how to outplay your opponents with initial damage, good positioning, and the flow of the actual combat. Easy. We go ahead and loot here. We basically grab batteries, big meds, things we know that we need. We go to this care package and grab a Volt. I think Wingman Volt is probably stronger than Car Volt, but I like running double tracking. That's it. A personal preference. It's a worse preference, but it's a personal preference. So we now have devastating close range. If someone gets close to us, we can absolutely beam them, and that's good for us. So we're going to try and play at our weapon strengths. So here we go. We are now trying to identify where enemies are. Now, if we paid attention to the very beginning of the game, I don't think I paid attention to this dropship very well. The dropship it starts from Skyhook side and flies over Fragment this way to like Lava City or so. Teams are likely to fan out starting in Skyhook. Teams probably gonna land Skyhook, Countdown, Fragment, and then it's probably gonna be 90% of the ship. The other 10% will probably land like Lava, Siphon, Geyser, Lava City, whatever. But this 10% doesn't matter. This 10% will naturally corral to the rest of the lobby. We need to understand where the rest of the lobby is to try and get a high kill game. I didn't pay attention to the dropship, and I simply went the way that the ring closed. The ring closed like this, so all of this area was playable, so I decided to go this way, as it was probably safer. So if I paid attention to that and anticipated if I expected that and anticipated more enemies to be here, then I probably would have rotated. I actually probably would have gotten more kills this game. I would have known how many enemies there are here. Now, we heard some shots. We heard a longbow earlier when I was talking.
Ring's not that far.
There's a car. We've heard a car. I believe we hear a longbow later. Yeah, we hear a longbow right there. So we know that this team on the center tower here is likely running longer range weapons, because if they're playing like this, they probably want to poke. So we're going to walk up closer to establish information. We're going to figure out the position of the enemies and figure out what angle we can approach from. Now, I will admit, 100%, we do get a little lucky here. A little bit of luck isn't, you know, a bad thing, obviously. I'll take it. So this team, I established that nobody's looking at me. Nobody is looking at me where I am. So we might be able to catch this team by surprise. So I take the zipline. We hold our Volt out. We catch this team completely off guard. Their pants are down. They have no idea what's happening. We have a Volt, which is extremely powerful in close range. We one-clip a Caustic. We immediately crack the Pathfinder as well with the same magazine of the Volt. We drop here. This drop is debatable, but we still don't know where the third person is. I think a more confident and experienced player would have actually stayed up here. I think staying up here was probably the right choice. But I like to play a lot more safe. I like to play a lot more reserved. We don't know where the third person is. I'm being caustic gassed. They might come behind me. I haven't established a knock on this Pathfinder. I don't know what gun he has. He could have a care package Mastiff here for all I know. And he could pump me for 120. I'm cracked. It's very easy to die like that. So we go ahead and drop. We actually get rewarded for it. Pathfinder takes the zipline for some reason. We finish him off pretty easily. We go ahead and thirst him. This fight boils down to we are just mechanically far better than these players, and we caught them off guard, and we're lucky because we have a care package weapon, everything like that. I opt to full heal before trying to go and take the zipline again. And if you're trying to push a zipline, this is probably the best way to do it. You want to throw some grenades. This grenade actually misses because I move, but you want to throw grenades to stop their angle from approaching, and you can jump on the zipline 3 times. So we jump twice. Caustic's here. We knock him. Pull out the Volt because the Volt does more damage, and we barely get to kill all the fuse. Very close. Very close fight, determined basically solely because of our mechanical skill compared to theirs. So now, with those 3 kills out of the way, we need to decide. I take this time at some point. I don't say this, but I visually process this, that there are 4 squads left, but we don't know how many people there are. In case you don't know, it turns into a question mark when there are less than 10 people in the lobby. So knowing how many people, there's 4 teams, and each team is composed of 3 people, that should be 12 people. However, I am no-filling. So this becomes 3 teams of 3, which should be 9, and then 1 team of 1, which is me, which is 10. However, the number is a question mark. That means I am not the only solo player in the lobby. There might be 2 duos. There might be another rat. I have no idea of knowing. But establishing that there is another team that isn't full is very important. We actually start getting shot from landslide, but they're poking us from the top. It doesn't really matter. We know that there's a team here, and in the spirit of trying to get better, we just try and take this fight. It's very important to try and take as many fights as possible if you're trying to improve, even if they're disadvantageous. It depends to which level you feel comfortable doing that to. If a team's full on high ground and they have snipers, I'm not going to go push them. But this team doesn't show their presence very well. I know that they're here. The Bangalore smoked me for some reason. And we establish where they are. This is all establishing information. We're trying to establish what characters they have, what angles they hold. We're going to try and engage their skill level to see what we can do. We initially gauged this team's skill level back here by just the weapons they were using and how they're playing. If a full team of 3 is trying to play up here, I can guess that they're not the most comfortable in a close range situation. So, with our weapons permitting us to fight in a close range situation, that's what we forced, and we won because of it. So we're trying to engage our teammate or our enemy's skill level here. This actually goes on for quite a bit, and I'm gonna spare you guys the long and raw details. But this team was essentially holding angles very effectively. Somebody was holding up here. They have a Horizon. I hear that. She probably has her ultimate. See, they were holding the stairs here for me. This is very difficult for me to push, knowing that there's only 1 point of entry, that being the zip line, unless I walk all the way around. So this is probably a full team of 3. I know there's at least 2. Don't know where the third is. We poke a bit. I try and see if I can catch them off guard. However, there's a point where the other team actually manages to push them. This is kind of miserable. You can hear me complain about it. See, now they're actually fighting. Their attention is divided. Their limited attention is divided. This is where I'm going to use the opportunity to come all the way around and catch them off guard. You can see how I said earlier, they've spotted me. So now I'm going to preemptively phase as I cross in the open. I don't have to use meds now in case I get shot, which I don't know if they're gonna shoot me or not. Did a super glide. This was a core vital mistake on my part. I just used my ability, my phase, which lets me play very aggressively. I just used that. And now I'm going to engage in a fight without my full resources against a team of 3. I missed my shots here. Unfortunate. It happens. Don't be too hard on yourself for that. I managed to burn one, almost crack one. So we're going to try and take this fight if possible. However, knowing that there's 2 of them, I, in this situation, am in a 2v1. I want to fight this team, but I cannot fight them in this current situation. There is a Wraith here and a Horizon here. I have to either mechanically outperform these guys to a great extent, or I break it up into 2 1v1s. And you can see this. I heard this Wraith place her portal earlier. See, I visually identify that she placed the portal here. And I know that she was the team that was up here. So I know that the portal goes over here. I see the other end here. So I throw the grenade here. I miss some shots. It's unfortunate. Happens. She misses her shot as well. I go through the portal. I now break up the fight. The fight is no longer focused on me. If they chase me through the portal, I'm sure you know, it's an easy kill if someone chases you through a portal like this. Especially because I have such high damage weapons. However, I recognize that they aren't chasing me. I didn't mean to take the portal back here, but it ended up being in my favor as this team started fighting the other team. I once again missed some more shots here, but I get the knock on the Horizon. Get the knock, instantly phase, instantly leave, instantly get out. This ended up being a duo, but I still didn't want to try and actively fight a duo because this team was coming to third party anyway. We go back to the portal. We ended up taking it by accident, just to tap straight back into it. This portal blocks the doorway. I know that this portal blocks the doorway, and I know that if someone's going to push me, they're going to have to go through the portal. I will audibly hear the portal activate if they come through it. So, knowing that this side's completely blocked off without giving me information, I go to this door and go to block this door while popping a battery. There's also a blue armor swap, so if someone tries to push me, I can simply cancel my battery, go to the armor swap, and then engage in a fight. This team might know I'm a solo. They saw me crossing earlier, so we're going to try and fight them here. They might just try and aim me though. I'm being careful. See, you can see here, I challenge the Horizon, she drops. My next step is immediately to visually figure out where the other teammates are. I find one crossing in the open here. I crack her. I'm waiting for this Horizon to probably push me. I hear an Octane to my left. We almost cracked the Horizon, but it's very dangerous to fight here. You can see I break LOS using the door here. I know where every person is. I know what angles I can hold to cut them off. My car wasn't reloaded here, which is unfortunate. There's a person here, and a person here, and a person here. If I use this doorway to block off line of sight with these guys, I now am fighting a 1v1 against this Horizon. This is a good fight to take. If I break this into another 1v1, we've now effectively fought 3 1v1s. If I win all these 1v1s, I've just 1v3'd. So we try and get an easy kill on this Horizon. I believe we actually end up choking a bit. Or this is an Octane, my bad. But we get some initial damage on. I want to try and challenge him. We get the knock. We drop because the other teammates are pushing me. We gave up our good position. We're going to back up and try and like leave. The zone's closing as well. We have to use our last battery, which is unfortunate. They start rezzing. They opt to reset instead of chasing me. So, knowing that I just gave up the way to get up there, I have to leave. The ring's gonna close. It's gonna prevent me from going up here. I actually can't fight this team, which is unfortunate, but it's just how it goes. I'm also now out of batteries. I have a Things kit, I believe. I have very few resources to utilize. My Volt's running out of ammo. I have no meds, basically. I have no grenades. I don't have my Q right now, so I just have to leave. Old mag on my car, that situation changes a lot, not gonna lie. And also what I said here, but we can talk about that later. We go and race it here. We wait for the care package. The care package, I want another gun out of this. I want another gun, potentially a battery. I am being aimed at, so I use that information to know that there's a team pushing. I don't know how many people there are, but getting the knock here, immediately using the Volt, I can figure out how many people there are. I tried to go for the thirst, but I'm almost already cracked. I don't have batteries, so I just have to back up. This team doesn't push me though, because I got a knock earlier. Managed to get a Kraber. Now the strength of our weapons. We have to think about our game plan. Our game plan here, there are 2 other squads. We know that one of them is a full 3 from earlier that we fought in Countdown, but actually managed to run away from. We know that this is a team of at least 2. It's a Maggie and somebody else. So we have to understand that this is now a 1v3, v2 or 3. We're not sure how many people are on this team. But this team of 3 isn't just going to ape this team of 2 probably, unless they get like a nasty headshot or something. So we now have to play around the fact that there's 2 other teams. We have a Kraber and a car. This Kraber gives us insane potential to steal kills or even set up good opportunities for us. If this team of 3 manages to get one Krabered, it's now a 1v2 v2 potentially. That's insanely powerful for us, because if these teams end up fighting, a third party from us becomes so much easier. So we're going to try and use the Kraber to set up potential opportunities for us. So here's what we're going to do. I'm looking for some resources here, some shield cells, some batteries, hopefully anything. I debate crafting here, but I believe we get some batteries out of a bin or something like that. They're shooting not at us because those shots were way too far off. I don't believe their aim was that bad. But we're going to try and look and see if we can third party them. I miss. It's unfortunate. It happens. Whatever. They actually get a knock here. So we're going to look and try and third party somebody that's low. We're going to walk a little bit closer, use the Kraber to maybe get an initial shot off. We miss once again. It's fine. Maggie's literally 1 HP, and we managed to secure the knock, which is awesome. Now we're going to try and reset to full. There's several knocks, and the team just wipes. So now, this is a scary situation to be in. We are now in a full-blown 1v3. This is a complete and absolute 1v3. We have to kill 3 people by ourselves to win. There were no trades in the kill feed, nothing like that. So, what are we gonna do? We're gonna establish a power position again. We're going to utilize our weapons to their strengths. We're going to use the Kraber to try and get some kills here. Why is there a jump pad here? I don't know why there's a jump pad there, still to this day. So we're going to look for Kraber headshots. We're going to try and get some good damage in. We're going to try and make opportunities for ourselves. Somebody walks up close. You manage to Kraber them 140 in the leg. Then boom, we get an unexpected angle because of our power position. It's so difficult for them to actually push us because of our good position. And the fact that we have a Kraber. We managed to punish it. That was not that hard of a shot to hit. We just played it smart. We're looking for the thirst here. We see the octane start to run up. We don't have a ton of ammo. So we're only going to take good, smart shots.
I'm inside the next room.
And we use the shot to get the thirst. Easy.
Killed an enemy.
This person's speaking us with the wingman. We're going to try and challenge this angle. At this point, you want to try and understand the game plan of these people. What are these people going to try and do? They might try and play the ring, which puts me... Their best thing they could possibly do is get me off of this high ground using grenades, ultimates, abilities, anything like that. They want to try and push me off of this. If they all 3 send me up, if they all 3 send the zipline or whatever, they're probably going to lose. They're probably going to die. Especially because there's jump pads here. They don't know about the jump pad. Because the jump pad's here, it sends them in a predictable arc, which is very easy to one clip. So, our win condition is by using our Kraber here to try and secure kills. We managed to secure 1 kill, which goes in our favor. Now we have to understand what they're going to try and do. This Octane immediately grabs the banner, obviously. He was rezzing the person. This Octane might try and res. Because, I mean, he can run over. There's a res beacon right here. This Octane might also just play with his teammate. They might try and jump pad and push me together. We know that the last 2 people are a Maggie and an Octane. A Maggie's drill probably isn't going to push me off the high ground. I can just rotate to the left or right a little bit and still hold angles. Or they might try an Octane pad on me. Octane padding on me would be very difficult just because of the raw height of this, but I have to be careful for them trying to do it from a rotation. They might try and rotate to the left where the ground's higher and then jump pad on me using a double jump. We have to try and establish their game plan here and how they win compared to how we win. We win this situation by hitting our shots with the Kraber and just punishing people. And they're going to try and win by using teamwork, using abilities, or grenades to try and stop me. I see that the Octane's running here. I try and headshot him. Don't really see him. I don't know where this person with the me and shooting me from, only the vague angle. I'm now out of shield cells, which is a scary situation to be in. However, at this point, I recognize this Octane might be trying to res. And he is. He dies because of his stim. He dies because he stimmed twice. And we managed to secure the thirst. In this situation, I accidentally backed up. In this situation, we're now in a 1v1, but the Octane, but the Bangalore gets rezzed. The Bangalore gets rezzed. She can grab his loot. It's effectively a 1v2 if I don't clean this up quickly. Let me talk about this shot. It's obviously like a meme. It's obviously not a very, I didn't expect it this shot. This shot is something called a high risk, low reward shot. If you've played Ana in Overwatch, this is a concept not unique to this game. It's very familiar with Ana players. Ana in Overwatch, if you don't know, has a stun ability that's a skill shot. It's a sleep dart, and the sleep dart basically implies a CC for 7 or 8 seconds that makes people unable to move until they're taking any damage. It puts them to sleep for 7 seconds. And the cooldown of the dart itself is like 20 something seconds or whatever. And what you'll see a lot of really low level Anas do is just toss a sleep dart randomly. But then if they get pushed, they can't punish somebody pushing them using the sleep dart. The same thing applies here. This is such a high risk shot because if I don't hit it, my last magazine of the Kraber, it becomes a lot less valuable. And hitting this shot, it's such a high risk shot to hit because she's moving at such a high velocity that it's so hard for me to hit it. However, I'm not gonna lie to you. The only reason I went for this shot is because I'm a content creator. I'm a streamer. I'm a YouTuber. I like to try and go for flashy shots because this would look cool in a montage. That's the only reason I did it. If I was an average player playing this game to win in the most effective and collected and big brain way, I would have just not gone for the shot. But for the sake of having a flashy kill, maybe I went for it. If you are the average player, I would not go for this shot unless you're trying to have some fun. I would recommend waiting because if you fall, I'm sure you know, but if you fall and hit the ground, your character is staggered for a couple seconds. You kind of hit the ground and hit with the impact, like the right when you hit it, and that's the perfect time to just dome her in the head. But because I shoot this Bangalore mid-air, I actually don't get the opportunity to do that because I'm rechambering the Kraber. It works out ending. It ends up working out in the end, but I wanted to still talk about this. And you see, I actually missed this shot too. I now only have 2 shots on my Kraber. Now, I'm sure you know, but the Kraber nerf allows for I know the armor value and helmet of this Octane. A headshot is only gonna hit for 180. That's not gonna kill the Bangalore. I have to land a headshot. I have to land 2 shots with the Kraber. A double body shot or a headshot and a body shot, or obviously double headshot will work too. But what's more likely to work here? What's easier to go for? Double body shot. So I recognize that with my 2 bullets left, I have to hit double body shot to kill this Bangalore. I could hit headshots, but going for body shots would be much easier for me here. That's exactly what I do. When she's looting, I wait for her to move in the most predictable pattern. I try and off-angle this guy. She strafes in a way that lets me predict it, and I know where she's going. I hit her again with another Kraber shot. Boom. We've now established this is now a 1v1. This has gone from a 1v3 to a 1v2 to a 1v2 to a 1v1. And now, we actually get to finish up here. We drop the Kraber, because we don't need it anymore. It has 0 ammo. We swap our gun positions. It's just a preference thing. We grab another car SMG, because why not? No reason not to. I go to try and thirst here, so they can't play off the res. We have 1 arc star here. The resources that we have to utilize here are 1 grenade. We have double car. We basically want to force a close range engagement. We can poke quite a bit, but they have a wingman. Their poke potential is better than mine. we don't have big meds. We have one battery, I believe. That's it. We have like no shield cells. We have our portal we can use. So we're going to try, and our game plan here is to try and play around the res. The res obviously has a timer of 40 seconds or so, but I'm under no obligation to force a fight unless I get an entry damage, because this person can bleed out for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. But the person here is going to try and want to res. They might try and do damage to me and then be like, all right, let's res our teammate, or do damage to me and then push me. So we're going to try and set up the most optimal position for us to actually play around. When I establish in this position, playing around the res, trying to force them to res would be the best situation for me. I'm going to try and pressure and try and make the enemy think that I really, really want the thirst, that I'm going to play dumb for it. And I do get punished for it quite a bit, but they start rezzing, we pop a battery. Even if they res, we didn't hear the audio cue for a gold bag, so even if they end up getting the res off, we can still run in, get the knock, target switch on the other person. We have double SMG. We have a lot of ammo we can use, and it will be pretty easy to punish them as long as we don't miss that many shots. On a bat, they actually end up baiting the res here. You can see that they try to shoot me. I'm using the corner to provide visual information to myself. We go ahead, slide in from the top here. Unexpected angle, she doesn't expect me to be that close, and I move one clipper. I still got it, dude. Very easy. Holy shit. This game ended up being a, what? 19 kill, 4.8k damage game. If we played a little bit smarter, if we played a little bit more effective, we would have actually probably gotten a 20 kill game. So let's think about the places where we could have played better. Let's think about the things we could have done better here. What are some key takeaways that we can improve on from this game? Obviously, we missed our shots here, but there is this situation. We miss out on the kills down here because we're looting. We miss out on potentially 2 kills down here because we're looting. We miss out on some more kills on the staircase earlier because, again, we were looting. We were playing too cautious. We were playing too reserved. We could have potentially also 1v3 the team up here. We could have also potentially 1v3 this team right here. Just because, but we played very cautious. Playing cautious isn't a bad thing, but it can prohibit you from taking more fights and taking more engagements. So in the future, I encourage myself to be a bit more smartly cautious and smartly aggressive. I want to try and think about more when I should be aggressive and when I shouldn't be aggressive. I'm really good at playing angles and playing really smart, but sometimes I'm not. But sometimes I don't play smart when it comes to caution. I always play with caution, even though I don't necessarily have to. Like I still had a portal here. I don't believe I used this portal at all. I still had more resources to use, which could have been used to get more kills. I didn't use everything in my kit. I barely ever used my phase. I barely ever used my portal. I could have maybe played more aggressive. I could have used these to block off doorways. I could have used these to actually set myself up for more kills. You can see I might have even, in this situation, I could have gone for a cooler, more aggressive play after I thirst this person, where I portal down and challenge the person on the truck here with the car in a close range situation. But I just play extremely reserved, and that's fine. But you can think about all the different avenues and things we could have done differently in different situations. If I really wanted to be more careful here, which I should have done this, I still had a portal that was just completely useless, didn't do anything. After I knocked this Bangalore, I could have ported to the right here and cut off this person's angle. But instead, I just dropped my gun and just kind of send it. I could have, I still had more resources to utilize here. Dude. I hope this video helped. I hope this is a nice breakdown of understanding what to do in situations. If you haven't watched the original video, it'll again be linked in the description and the pinned comment below. I really hope you guys enjoy content like this. I also, again, do these live on Twitch sometimes. So if you want to come by and say hi, drop me a follow, it'd be very appreciated. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope you enjoy the content. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.